Yeah, we're going to Mr. Pasuto.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Can I just follow up on a question Ms Benham was asking around the statue, but in relation to the portrait of the former Premier, Mr Andrews. Is the portrait of Mr Andrews as a former Premier being mounted anytime soon? Just a factual update, that's all.
Can we take that on notice?
Take it on notice, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't know.
Speaker, I think it was you who provided the answers about the nature of threats. I just wanted to get a sense, and of course understanding that it's not good policy and not advisable to go into the details, but are you able to provide the committee with any sense of whether the nature of threats, given the polarisation we're seeing across many areas of public discourse, whether that's becoming more exacerbated? Do you have any concerns about the nature of threats?
I think, thank you, Member Hawthorne. Yes, I think that more broadly across every parliamentary democracy in the world, there are increasing concerns, and our security team regularly meet with ASIO, and of course, as you would know, that the general terrorism threat across Australia is probable, which is obviously determined by ASIO. So we do take these things into consideration, which probable means greater than 50% chance of an onshore terrorist attack, excuse me, within the next 12 months. So yes, the risk is very high. They assess our landscape very regularly in partnership with Big Pole, of course, and ASIO for a range of different threats. I think there is a general concern that domestic actors are increasingly problematic, particularly as they are driven to action by, as you mentioned, socio-political
And
matters,
forgive me, Speaker, can I
issues.
just, further to that comment, is there any suggestion that there are foreign actors who might be fuelling activity in and around the Victorian Parliament or more broadly?
I couldn't go into detail on that, Member for Hawthorne, but I do think that there is an increased prevalence of language that is particularly related to extremism and narratives that are fueled by conspiracy theories that are often driven by social media. So yes, I think we have to be mindful all the time of the risk. The other risk, obviously, is cybersecurity. And like every jurisdiction, we are constantly monitoring that risk. And like every jurisdiction, we are at risk. So we, like the Secretary, can probably talk more to the measures that we put in place to allay any cybersecurity. But it is a problem that is not just here in Victoria. It is across many.
And without asking you, Speaker or President, to disclose anything that you shouldn't, do the assessments that you receive and the briefings you receive around security give you reason to think that the Parliament may need to invest more to anticipate the changing nature of threats?
I think that it is a constant to be reviewing our security measures. It is not something that is static.
Yeah. Can I ask, in a related subject, protests on the steps, which we kind of all accept, I think, to one degree or another. We accept that it's a place where people congregate to express their views. But I think it would be fair to say there's been mounting concern about the nature of some protests in and around the Parliament, and also we've seen in recent times a number of frequent instances where the chambers have been adjourned because they've been disrupted. Are you seeking any advice or proposing any measures to deal with the nature of protest activity where it goes beyond what we consider to be the lawful and acceptable expression of democratic opinion?
Yeah, look, and I think, John, it's, and I wouldn't wish it on any presiding officer or a future presiding officer to be in a position to decide what sort of protest, which protest is allowed to protest out the front. We have a balance where, as I was saying before about the committee rooms, we want Victorians, this is their place. We want them to come in, we want them to view Parliament, we want them to view committees, and it's a balance. And we're not always, with the disruptions to the chambers, that's the balance. Like there's a great deal of work, there's intelligence, there's all sorts of things we can do, but we do run the risk from time to time that there may be a disruption. We wish there wasn't, but the alternative is that you know, we kind of close down everything, and that's not what the Parliament can be about.
President, can I ask just on that, have there been any outcomes from investigations into the invitation that's been extended to people who've entered the Parliament, sat in the galleries and then disrupted? Either of you, perhaps, have there been any outcomes? And if you can't disclose details for one reason, has that been concluded, that process?
We put it... I'll give an example of most sitting weeks in our chamber we have a debate around a petition, and every sitting week without fail there's a great deal of interest, particularly the people who've signed a petition, around that debate. So we've had our galleries pretty full. And a lot of times those galleries are sponsored by the MP who's actually sponsored the petition. Yeah. So we put a lot of responsibility back on those MPs to say, could you, like, we want them in here. We want them to, you know, they're passionate about it. We want them here. Yeah. And I actually say that in the chamber when, you know, we're really happy you're here. So we put a bit of responsibility back on the sponsor. I think it's worked really well. We, you know, as I said, this balance where we want Victorians to be in here. This is their house, to the odd person who's hopefully not often, but the odd person's going to play up, which disrupts the whole place.
Thanks, President. I appreciate that greatly. The Parliamentary Workplace Standards and Integrity Commissioner, have you, who reports directly to the Parliament, is that something that either or both of you have been involved in assessing the performance of in any way?
No.
Okay. It does seem, I mean, the performance statement, page 162, does talk about a parliamentary appropriation of $3 million. Can I just get you to confirm for the record that neither of your officers or any of the officers in the Parliament review the performance of that commissioner?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Galea.